Let's talk Tanya for the first of Tamuz of a leap year. In yesterday's Tanya, we explained that we can't understand God's unity, his essential unity, because we are so removed from the way things work by God. We're limited by the way we experience our reality. We can't appreciate something higher than that. And to better understand that idea, the Alter Rebbe is going to contrast our reality with God's reality. So yesterday we started by talking about our reality, that our internal spiritual structure is comprised of 5 different levels, as we explained yesterday, the highest of which is chachma, which is wisdom, and the lowest of which is action. Now, how does this compare to God? So there's a pasuk in Tehillim, which we say also in davening. We say it, kulam bechachma asisa. We say to God, everything that you created, everything that you made was made with wisdom. But in a play on words, the Alter Rebbe says that these words can also mean something else. Kulam bechachma asisa means that to you, God, chachma, which is wisdom, and asisa, which is action, it's all the same thing to you. In other words, the way we view action, which is the lowest stage and the lowest level of our internal structure, that's the way God views wisdom. To put it in somewhat different words, our roof, which is chachma, is God's floor. Our ceiling is his floor. That is the lowest level for him. Alter Rebbe doesn't say this over here, but elsewhere in Chassidus, there is a saying of the sages that is brought down to illustrate this idea. The sages tell us, "B'makim shata moitze gdulasei, sham ata moitze an v'sinusei," which means that in the place where you'll find God's greatness, that's where you will find his humility. Now that has many different meanings, but one of the meanings is that in the place where you look and you say, oh, this must be God's greatness, God's wisdom. Can you imagine how great God's wisdom is? God's wisdom is the source of all the worlds. In actuality, that is God's humility. The fact that God contracted himself and compressed himself to that very low level of wisdom, which for God, wisdom is as lowly as action is for us. For him, that is humility. So while we are comprised of 5 different levels, wisdom being the highest and action being the lowest, to God, wisdom is the floor. But how many levels does God have? In other words, is wisdom the lowest of 5 levels? No. To God, wisdom is the lowest of an infinite amount of levels. So once we understand this, we realize that trying to understand God is it's ludicrous. We're supposed to try to understand God totally beyond our framework. Again, that which to us is the highest level, for God is the lowest level. Is it a surprise that we can't understand whatsoever the idea of God's unity? Now, we're going to continue this discussion tomorrow, and we're going to explain once again, or in a deeper way, we're going to explain just how much greater God is from wisdom.